Hello, this is chapter 8 of the Odyssey. It's called 3 Women Watching. A friendly fog smothered the face of the ocean. Neither the vengeful sun god above nor the vengeful sea god below sighted Odysseus as he drifted to the shores of Ogygia. There he woke to find himself on a bed of fleeces with a sea nymph's song in his ears. Calypso the sea nymph had everything a nymph's heart could desire. Hives full of honey, vines bent double with grapes, olive groves and pomegranate trees, figs and carobs and freshwater springs. Her cave was no dark, damp hollow in a rock infested with crabs. It was a sunny cleft, high in a flowery hillside. The floor was carpeted with woven rugs, 7 deep, for each time the colours faded, Calypso had others to throw across them. The walls, too, were hung with tapestries. The weaving of these was her only daily work. Indeed, Calypso wanted for nothing, that is, but a husband. When Odysseus sat up and looked around him, he commented on the prettiness of the cave. "I've tried always to keep it pleasant while I waited." "Without your nursing, I would be lying dead on the beach now," he said. "I am truly grateful." "But how could I let you die after waiting all these years?" she said, and laughed. Waiting for what? He began to feel nervous. "Waiting for you, of course, Odysseus, my love. You are the husband I've waited for all my life. I knew you would come, and now you'll stay with me forever." "But, lady, I'm married. My wife and son are waiting in my 3-island kingdom of Ithaca. I must set sail today." Calypso narrowed her sea-green eyes. "But you have no ship, husband." "Then you must give me one, lend me one, help me to build one." "But I have no ship, husband, and I am the only person living on this island. The trees here are my friends and subjects. They would never allow themselves to be fashioned into a ship that would take you away from me." "But my wife—" "Yes, my dear, my wife, Penelope, I mean, is old and wrinkled now. I will never grow old. I am immortal." Then Odysseus knew how the little bird feels when it lands on lime twigs to rest and finds its feet stuck fast. He threw himself down on the fleecy bed and turned his face to the wall. Calypso smiled patiently. "Soon you will love me. Wait and see," she said cheerfully, and returned to her loom which stood by the entrance of the cave. Far, far across the oceans, in the white halls of Pelecata Palace, another woman was weaving. Penelope, Queen of Ithaca, looked up from her loom and stared out across the wave-striped sea. Every day she sat at her loom in the window of the palace, and every day she watched for Odysseus to set sail over the horizon. But the only ships which came were the ships of smiling, smiling, smiling suitors. Moneyless princes and dispossessed warlords sailed in on every tide to ask for her hand. The laws of hospitality demanded that she offer them food and drink and a bed to sleep in. But the suitors never went home. They were sleeping 4 to a bed now. Every day they ate and drank the produce of the island, feasting and making free with Odysseus' own clothes, Odysseus' own weapons, Odysseus' own chairs, making eyes at Odysseus' own wife. "He's dead long since, lady. His ship went down in a storm." "He was killed by pirates, most likely, or eaten by cannibals. Don't give him another thought, dear lady. Marry again and give this 3-island kingdom of yours a new king." They talked of love, but none of them loved Penelope. Their hearts were set on the golden crown of Ithaca and the island's riches. "My husband will come back soon," she told them at first. "I feel in my heart that he is still alive. He'll be angry to find you here pestering me. Leave now, that's my advice." But as the months went past, she realised that they would not leave just because she advised it. "Go away," she told them. "I don't want to marry any of you. I shall have only one husband in my life, and that husband is Odysseus. His son, Telemachus, will rule the 3-island kingdom after him." But as the months went past, she realised that the suitors were plotting and scheming to murder Telemachus so that Odysseus, dead or alive, would have no heir. "Go away," she told them. "There's not one of you I'd choose to marry, even if my Odysseus were dead." "Then we'll draw lots," said the suitors. "The man who wins shall take you for his wife, since you have no special preference." Then Penelope asked herself, what would Odysseus do if he were in my place? He wouldn't let these bullies have their own way. And so she set up a loom in the window of Pelecata Palace, and she threaded a wide warp, and she wound a heavy shuttle. "Hear this, you graceless men. I believe now that my husband Odysseus is dead. I will marry one of you, a man of my own choosing, but not yet. Let me weave a wedding veil, and over it weep tears of mourning for my dear dead Odysseus. When it is finished, I shall choose, not before." That night the suitors feasted more wildly than ever. "She'll choose me." "Never, she liked me all along." "Nah, haven't you seen the way she looks at me?" "Why argue? Not long till that veil's woven and we'll know," they said, and broke open another keg of Odysseus's wine. That night, when they had all drunk themselves into a stupor, Penelope left her bed and crept to the loom in the moonlit square of the window. "O moon, who shines on me, and somewhere over the sea shines on my dear Odysseus too, give me light now enough to do my work." And she set about unpicking all but a row or two of the weaving she had done during the day. "Here is one wedding veil which will never be worn to a wedding," she said to herself. "Long before it's finished, Odysseus will sail over the horizon and drive these bullies into the underworld like sheep into the slaughterhouse." But though the friendly moon lit her work and laid a yellow path across the ocean, no red-prowed, fast black ship sailed along the moon's highway. High, high above the ocean, another woman sat, watching. Like Calypso the sea nymph, and like Queen Penelope, she loved Odysseus, the hero of Troy. She had preserved his life through many battles. She had planted the little white moly flowers which were the antidote to Circe's magic potions. She had pressed home the soil around the roots of the tree which overhangs Charybdis, and she had laid the friendly fog across the sea to hide Odysseus as he drifted helplessly on his red keel. The goddess Pallas Athene loved Odysseus, for all he was small and stocky and mortal. For 7 interminable years she watched Calypso's carpeted cave and saw Odysseus sit sobbing in the sun, pleading with Calypso to let him go. Every day he lit a fire and made sacrifice and prayed to the gods for their help. But every god and goddess on holy Olympus mountain top had been forbidden to help him. The father of all gods, Zeus the Almighty, had spoken. No meddling goddess was to send a ship or carry Odysseus home on wings of magic. At last, Athene went to her father and said, "Zeus, let Odysseus continue on his way. His wife and son need him at home." "No," snapped Odysseus. "He may stay where he is. No torment, surely, to live with a sea nymph in paradise. No, I will not deny Poseidon some revenge for the blinding of his son." "Have you heard what Calypso did today?" Athene persisted, her head on one side. "She offered to make him immortal as she is." "She what?" "She offered him the gift of immortality if only he would love her." "The hussy! What did he answer?" "He refused," declared Athene proudly. Zeus gave a sigh of relief and seemed pleasantly surprised. Refused immortality? He must really want to leave Calypso very much. What for, I wonder? A wife and son in a miserable little 3-island kingdom? Athene waited patiently. "So you will consider setting him free?" Zeus scowled, banks of white cloud knitting over his all-seeing eyes. When has one little mortal ever caused such excitement among the immortals? In a few years he'll be nothing but a heap of dust and drifting spirit. "Very well, I'll send and tell Calypso she must set Odysseus free, but Athene—" "Yes, dearest father?" "No magic wings to carry him, no words of advice whispered in his ear while he sleeps, no visits to earth to walk by his side. This man loves his wife. It would be a great mistake for any foolish goddess to fall in love with him." Athene widened her warrior grey eyes. "A goddess love a mortal? How could such a thing ever happen, father dear?" Behind a rainbow column of the house of the gods, Poseidon crouched, greenly out of place in the dry realm of heaven. He dripped wet blue rain on the landscape beneath as he rubbed his hands together and bared his teeth in a smile. "Now I shall have you where I want you, little mortal. Soon you will wonder why you ever prayed to leave Calypso's isle."